Morning everyone, FG from FG Crypto channel. Guys, this video is not edited, made it fancy or anything. This is straight from the bat. I haven't made a video about yield nodes in a while, but I think you guys need to see this. This is all about the audit in Malta, and one of our investors, Adrian Stephen, went over, and the feedback on this video that you will see now, I'm linking that to this video. You need to see this. So for all the current investors, please have a look, and for the new guys, the link will be down low, guys. I think you need to see this, and longevity and obvious diversification in crypto is very important. But look at this, it is fantastic. Go well, peeps. Chat soon. Bye.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Adrian Stephen. I'm from Johannesburg in South Africa. And I've been attending an exclusive audit with a cryptocurrency company called Yield Nodes here on the island of Malta, and that's in the Mediterranean Sea, just north of Africa. And it's been an absolute privilege and an absolute honor to be invited, and I must say the transparency of this company has been very, very impressive. And I've been asked, and this is for my community as well as myself and for all the investors in South Africa, and we've put together a series of questions, and I have the honor here of introducing to you Mr. Steve Hurman, who's the chairman of Yield Nodes, and I've compiled a group of questions which I'm going to ask Steve. Hi there, Steve.
Hello, Adrian.
That's great.
It's nice having you here. I hope you were happy with the level of transparency that we tried to show, and I gladly answer all the questions your community might have.
Yes, and I must say the level of transparency and the detail and the time that it's taken the team here to really just show everything of every single aspect of this business, as well as we've been treated like absolute kings. I mean, our accommodation was paid for, all our dinners, we're in this amazing hub here, and it's exceeded my expectations. All right, so without thank you. So without any further ado, I'd like to start with the question, Steve. Now, with regards to the current bear market in the cryptocurrency industry and traditional markets, what is the risk for yield nodes going forward?
Okay, I believe we already mitigated a lot of risk during this bear market that has been ongoing since, I believe, June 22, the official bear market started. And Bitcoin has fallen from grace from 68,000 down to currently at like $22,000. And we held steady. As you saw the numbers, and I believe you can confirm that we are in a very good position despite a lot of similar projects completely crashing. So the true dangers to the project, I believe, could be hacking attempts. That's why we're quite secretive with the numbers, the data, and where we store, because hacking is always a problem in this high-tech venture that we are in. And the crypto market, if it really collapses further to levels where we don't believe that crypto could be a thing anymore. But in all honesty, we are all in this because we believe in crypto. We believe that after fiat paper and banks that are truly not on your side in this economy, crypto is the next best thing, and we believe that it will recover in the long run, as it recovered 4 times already before. Like Bitcoin has been declared dead so many times, and it always rose from the ashes like a phoenix. So we are quite confident that we can stem those risks.
Absolutely. And that takes me on to my next question. How are yield nodes reinventing themselves to stay profitable and sustainable for the long term? I mean, you'd probably agree with me, you'd like to see yield nodes and disseminate be around for the next 10, 15, 20 years?
Definitely, yeah.
So what is your secret sauce, if I may ask?
We mitigated a lot of the risks by, you can look at one of our main coins, to see it in action, which is Sapphire, the biggest coin that we are running, masternoding and staking. And it held quite well against the downfall. If you look at it, it's almost at all-time high levels, despite the huge fall, because we have a very strong community, very strong Discord members, and we keep an open dialogue with our investors and partners and the communities. Instead of, like, for example, Bitcoin is being talked, to make a comparison, Bitcoin is being talked a lot by different entities, and there's no one that is really taking charge in the Bitcoin network. While Sapphire and our coins are like really in our ecosystem, and we work very hard on those. So we have the community that helps us. The belief in our coins is very strong, and we shift a lot of the coins back and forth to hedge against risks of systemic risk and risks in the market. So we managed to keep the blow very soft, and we believe we can do that also should the market collapse very further. And all in all, I believe this is a great recipe also because it was a great testing area, the fall from Bitcoin down to the current levels. So we are quite well prepared to even sustain a further downfall.
Correct. Now, is the current monthly profit that obviously Yield Nodes is achieving, is this pure profit, or is it supplemented by the reserves to keep up the performance in a bear market? Okay, and if supplemented, how long can it be sustainable before we are in serious trouble? I understand that you have 18 different coins that are staked. Are the profits kept above a certain level?
We are still paying profits from profits. As you saw in the audit, our reserves are over-collateralized, meaning we have more money than we need to have to pay out every investor. So, to answer the question, we pay from profits and there's no need to go already to reserve territory.
Fabulous. That's going to ease a lot of people's, keep the peace there, and you know, that's great. Now, can yield nodes, another question I've been asked time and time again, can yield nodes close down offices if things go wrong? And does Contingency have assets or reserves to cover investors' losses?
As answered before, we are over-collateralized at the moment, so we have more funds than we need. But all the funds that we have are mostly in coins, so we need the capital working, meaning we cannot take out any capital and just park it on the side. This should be the job of the investor who's like taking profits and putting it to the side, because we want to maximize the earnings for our clients. So it makes sense if you are in trouble or you want to make a reserve to do that on your own, because if we would do that, we would reduce the profits because reserves are not being used for anything. That's why they're being called reserves on the side. So it makes more sense if the investor does that himself, and we try to work as ethically and as clear as possible while always showing the books, doing our transparency meetings and audits, and the investor himself pockets the profits, puts it on the side, and has then peace of mind. So we need to work this way to really maximize the returns, because else people who are willing to not have money just parked would have less returns.
And I believe this audit, you're going to be doing an audit consecutively every single year.
Exactly. We want to do at least one, but possibly 2 times a year. So the next time, hopefully, if you take part again, we might do it, who knows, in January, February, something like that. Because this is a great metric, you know. If someone comes, checks the books and sees we are in profit, we do not rely on other capital, we do not play the usual stealing from Peter to give it to Paul games. This is the best metric, and it's also a very healthy safety net for me when I meet the team, when I see the numbers, when you can verify all those numbers. This is like, I do not know of any company that does that, and I'm very grateful for us and the team for doing and allowing that, and letting the auditors in to give security and show that what we did in the past, well, it's no guarantee for the future. I want to make that clear. Well, it's not a guarantee for the future that it's going to keep going like this. That what we did in the past during the last 3 years and the last 3 audits that we did has worked and has generated true profits.
Fantastic. Now, can you reveal any projects that are going to be launched or that have just been launched to ensure longevity and success for the company and its investors?
I believe the best way to do that is we had this presentation, as you know, about the Sanomi and the hubs that we built in Sao Tome and the real projects. I'm going to give you the PDF files and you can share with the community so they can see everything that is planned and everything that is ongoing, so we get the most information.
And that's great. And we actually had Oost going through that PDF PowerPoint presentation and it was explained in detail. Now, will us as investors be able to diversify inside the Disharmony company umbrella other than the noding process to generate profit?
This is a great question, and it's planned in Yield Nodes Pro, so that when we are already working on this for institutional investors, so in the longer run, this is now out probably 1-2 years still, people can then choose the projects they like and they can invest directly in it instead of the coins. This will be an option going further.
Fabulous. Now, here in South Africa, there is so much excitement around the Yield Nodes branded crypto Visa card. When will this card officially be launched, and will it be available in countries that I currently do business in, such as South Africa, Zimbabwe, Botswana, and Mauritius?
We are currently in the final stages of dealings, and this is exactly the area that is a little bit problematic because the card issuers, it's very tricky for South Africa to get the card. But we are, as I said, there is a possibility, and we are having a few meetings now ahead of us where we discuss not only the card design and the markets, but also how this can benefit the Yield Nodes community, because we do want this card. We want it desperately. Make no mistake, we want people to use it because it's a benefit for the Yield Nodes community. Instead of using outsider cards and fees getting lost, if the fee flows into the pool, this is a perfect benefit, and we are really working hard on it. So as soon as we have news for that, I will let you know.
And then another question around the card. When the card launches, will it be possible to intertransfer to another Yield Nodes crypto card?
This will be possible, yes. This is an internal, a small programming fee.
Okay. Now, I stand to correction, but I believe there is a staff complement of approximately 60 people which are involved in various projects under the Disharmony umbrella. What are their specific roles, as I believe only 5 focus only on Yield Nodes?
The 5 that focus on Yield Nodes is Yield Nodes is acting as the financier company to the Sanomi, and most of the people work in the Sanomi on the coins, programming, maintenance, structure, project leading, Discord channels, promotion, marketing, project leading, and we still look for more talented people in that area because this is where we generate the profit. Yield Nodes itself is managed only by a few people and a few support people because this is the handling of the funds, transferring it into the coins, paying out the profit, so there's not so much manpower needed. So the true focus lies on the Sanomi and the realization of the use cases.
Okay. Now, I'm going to assume the worst case scenario. If Oost were to pass away suddenly, and God forbid, what will happen to the investors' money? Who knows what Oost knows? Will the company continue to thrive, just survive, or die completely?
If Oost dies, I believe no one knows as much as Oost does. In all honesty, he's kind of, the head of the operation. But the funds and everything, we always have backup people that have access to everything. So the worst case scenario is we would probably have to pay everyone out. If we would not continue the project, we would pay everyone out his share. But most likely is that someone else would step up. As said, most probably Dima, his assistant, that has a lot of knowledge in the sector, and we would find a replacement in that regard. The same is for me. Like, I manage the coins, but I also have a second guy in command, which is Igor, which programmed the full of Yield Nodes, and I know him since 18 years old, so essentially we passed all our life together. So there's no social hacking involved. He's not a newly hired person who could, abuse the system. He's very well into it, and he has the same access that I have. So if I would just to answer the question in full. If something were to happen to me, he would take over. So there's, in each position there's a backup placed.
Okay.
So I do not believe that the company is going to die.
Fabulous. That's a great peace of mind. Now, what will happen when all cryptocurrencies, or it could be only a few, become regulated and centralized? What will happen to the yield nodes average percentage returns?
This is a very hard question to answer, and it's probably anyone's guess because no one knows where the regulatory bodies are going or where they are going to focus on. Mostly right now they focus on stablecoin regulation, which is not a bad thing because there has been many crashes. I'm sure many South African people have been affected with the Terra Luna crash or any downfall from different big companies that suffered losses or even declared bankruptcy. But I honestly believe that regulation can be a good thing. That if done properly, it can be a good thing. If done badly, then it can hamper, can hinder the proceeds. So I believe now for the foreseeable future, for the next years, I believe the returns are going not to be impacted because we are also in different jurisdictions with Hong Kong. It's very far out there. Then we're trying to get regulated in Switzerland, and we have ties to the government in Sao Tome and Malta. So we are working and we are trying to stay at the pulse of time to be able to react quickly to changing sentiment and to adapt our model. Yield nodes has never been a passive option, but for the investor, yes, a passive investment option, but it was never sitting idle. It was only masternoding at the beginning, then came staking, then revenue from different other ventures, active programs, new use cases. So we will keep reinventing the wheel if needed to, survive in a new environment. Because evolution is key in making returns.
Now, the African country, this island that Disomini adopted to test their real case scenario adoption, has the plan been rolled out already to execute? And what exactly is the plan to ensure successful implementation?
We are working very closely with the government of Sao Tome and Principe, which is a small democratic island. And we have not only the letter of intent from the president, who basically gave us carte blanche in helping rewrite the laws for the island, rewriting how the economy could work, granting us a banking license if necessary, allowing the coins to be used as legal tender. And our goal with that island is that it's going to be our lighthouse project, meaning we're going to install solar panels, sustainable farming. We're going to make their life better for the people on the island. And if this works out as we intend, then we can shop this idea to other countries and make the economy really, really big. And this is our intent. And the first steps have already been taken. The first talks have been held. And as I said, we have the letter for the president, who essentially wants to do this together with us, and we'll probably start by the end of this year. So
fabulous.
To buy the first grounds and start the business. Offices have already been rented, so we are going to build a presence there.
Now, a question about the Sapphire coin. What is the end goal of Disomini as a company, and especially the Sapphire coin that I believe is already used to make purchases on Amazon? I mean, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, the Sapphire is our biggest project, or turned out to be the biggest project, with a market capitalization close to 900 million. So it's already in the top 50 of coin market cap. It's really big. And you can use it to purchase Amazon vouchers, Netflix. It's a consumer coin, essentially. You can use it to purchase articles everywhere. And it's a great coin to masternode because only masternoding makes like 56% a year. You can masternode it for yourself to diversify your investment and retain control, or you go through yield nodes and get the yield that way. We always suggest both ways, and hopefully the successful story can be duplicated with all our other coins. While Sapphire will always be our key metric, the other coins that we have, which is a total of like, I believe, between 18 and 20, depending what we merge and how we handle them. But we also plan we have a lot of room for growth in this market, so there's a lot of business left to do for the future.
Now, what is the estimate time frame for the Yield Notes project to allow investors to invest? Is it 5, 10 or 15 years? And is this project's outlook short, medium or long term?
The project is definitely long term, and investing will keep going as long as we see it beneficial, because more investors means more visibility in the market. It means more higher ranks, better business proposals from different governmental bodies, from different places, and more exposure. So for now, there are no plans to close that down, the possibility to invest. If we would be overwhelmed at some point, like if we see the crypto market not growing in tandem with the investment, we would close the doors first to outside investors, while the people that are with Yield Notes can still reinvest and grow. And if necessary, we would close that in a second step. But we will always communicate the ideas up front so that no one can be taken aback or get shocked if something doesn't work out.
My next question, is there a cutoff in terms of capital that can be invested?
Not at the moment. Maybe in the future, but as I said, we would need to look very far into the future. So far, and in the foreseeable future, nothing is planned like that.
Right. And do you need fresh cash injections to keep Yield Notes sustainable, or can the program keep performing without more deposits?
It can perform without more deposits. I'm very confident in saying that.
And in the current bear market, where we've seen major cryptocurrencies losing 70% of their value, how does Yield Notes still maintain profits when the major of cryptocurrency projects, the majority, have not survived? I mean, we've seen the markets, we've seen blood on the dance floor, we've seen major projects closing, shutting down, left, right and center.
Yeah, as said before, we have very sturdy communities, and we shift the coins according to our internal metrics. Like, I cannot divulge the exact methods because this is, as I said before, it's our secret sauce, so to speak. But the results, like if you look at it, and the results itself, as you said, they speak volumes, because Sapphire is at an all-time high in a bear market.
Yes.
We have enough capital. We saw the audit. We saw that not all the funds of the audit are in Sapphire, but we have liquidity outside. We have different other assets, so we are fluid in our movements, and that's basically it. We just try to have a very tight management and a very tight, very good goals, and our investors know that, and they work with us. So we do have very few weak hands in our coins.
Fabulous. Now, I've seen this, and this is something that's been fairly recent, I think a month. Why are Yield Notes offering the 20% deposit bonus?
Okay.
As I see, there appears to be some negativity surrounding the 20% bonus given to new investors, implying that reserves and noted amounts could be lower than expected.
This feature is actually a very good thing, and probably it's a little bit misunderstood, but in order to make the returns, we need to keep money in the coins, because if coins lose liquidity, the value drops, and so drop the master loading profits. With this offer, people that leave anyways and lose 25% of their capital, other people can take that chance and gain 20% more profit, while 5% of that sum flows into the pool, strengthening the pool. This means each time these bonus deposits are paid up in seconds all the time, because people realize if I stay with Yield Notes, I will get not only 20% more, but I stay in a good product because I believe the audits and I believe the guys and the transparency of the system. And so for us, people leaving and giving up 25% was a good option, but it still bleeded out the coin liquidity. And a better option for us is to gain essentially 5% that is flowing into the pool and not into our pockets, but for the investors. And the person that leaves is still happy because they get their money out, and the new investor who comes along or who just buys up gets a 20% push. So it's really a win-win-win situation, and we don't see any downsides to that.
Phenomenal, thanks. That was a great answer. Now, for example, we've seen Bitcoin rallying around $21,000-$22,000. There's a lot of speculation, experts are saying that Bitcoin could drop as low as $12,000. If this happens, how does yield notes still generate a profit or pay back people's initial investment?
It would be harder.
Yes.
But as you know, we fell from 68,000 down to 22,000, which is a much bigger drop. So we are quite confident we can also stem such a fall. Maybe the returns will get a little bit lower, but our main directive in this company is to keep preserving the capital. This is everything else, even though nice, of course, the profits and people are in it for the profits, is an optional to that directive. So we are quite confident that given how we worked before and how history does repeat itself, even if it fell to 12,000, that we would be able to stem such a loss, so to speak, in the market.
A lot of peace of mind. Now, we know that there are 18 different coins that yield nodes are noding and staking. And ladies and gents, there is a list of these coins on the website if you'd like to go and explore them further. Now, if those coins also crash in value and I want to start drawing out my funds, will yield nodes have to sell more coins, or how does this actually work?
This is our metric. You're asking me something, it's again the secret sauce a little bit, because we are monitoring all the coins and we can add liquidity to coins, remove liquidity, and through clever moving, which we are programming an algorithm for, because right now it's being done manually, we can stop bleedings quite effectively and shift values so that our users can still generate profit. This is how we were able to soften the blow in the beer market. This is how we did it.
Fabulous. Now, again, I could stand to correction, but why did yield nodes withdraw their emergency withdrawals from 6 months minimum investment period to 3 months minimum investment period? In a bear market, I would think it would move in the opposite direction. Because if the markets crash, you'd want people to keep their investment in for a longer period.
But I believe like we have 6 months. We have 6 months.
It's 6 months.
It's 6 months. It doesn't have changed.
Oh, so
it didn't change. It hasn't changed.
Okay.
The 3 months, probably what the question implies is that if we would return less than 5% for 3 months in a row, then the coins get unlocked. This is a clause on the website against inactivity, meaning if the market is going well and you see that we are not generating enough profits and people don't want to stay with us for 6 months, and the returns fall so low that they can get out after 3 months.
Okay.
This is.
I see.
So
great. That's a great clarification of that. Now, how safe is yield nodes reserve fund if all the investors want to withdraw their funds, initial investment and profits?
It depends how quick that, like, there's no scenario where this would happen right away. So as long as we have enough time to sell out coins and offset, that's how the program is structured with the locking. There's always capital locked. So never can all the funds flow out in, say, 24 hours. There's always time. And as long as we have time, we can manage the coins, hedge against the losses, and pay out everyone. So if everyone follows the traditional procedures, be it emergency withdrawals, be it regular payouts and not reinvesting, compounding, we would have no problem paying out everyone. Because you saw the numbers, you saw that we are covered.
No problem paying out anybody. Your reserves are more than sufficient enough. And then my final question, Steve. What is in the next 5 years? What are the plans and goals of firstly yield nodes that fall and then disnominate? Where do you see yourselves in 5 years from now? I know it's a difficult question.
Hopefully strong and healthy, actually. Okay. Yeah, no, we are very optimistic. Like what I want to always do and what I always do in interviews is warn people that yield nodes is risky. It remains a risky asset. Like 10% is always something that I advocate, 10% of assets into anything. I personally have, you know that, now 35% of my assets in yield nodes because it was 25%, but everything else kind of went low in the market. So my true assets now, I did a recalculation exactly this morning, is 35%. And I have a good feeling when I say 10% of your liquid assets could be with yield notes, because it's a great program and you have so much upside with the compounding that it's a great way to bet on it in the future and get a good yield out of it.
Wonderful.
So I do think in 5 years we will be here again and we can speak again how the past years have
Fantastic. I cannot wait. I'm so excited. Steve, it's been an absolute honor and a pleasure. Thank you so much for your time.
For me as well.
And I'm having an absolute wonderful stay in Malta. Thank you for you and your team looking after me so well. I really appreciate it. And I hope to be back soon. Ladies and gents, Adrian Stephen at the hub of yield nodes where it all happens. It's been super exciting. It's been an honor and a privilege. Thank you very much for watching this video. And if you've got more questions, please get hold of me and I'd be delighted to answer them. Thank you very much.
Thank you guys.
Thanks.